Yeah, we're going live. Welcome if you're hearing me already. I never know quite when Zoom is on YouTube, so if I ever stare into the camera deadpan confused, it's because I don't know that the stream has started yet. And now we're going to click the magic button and we're going to go into YouTube and we're going to let you click the link. This link will bring you into Zoom. We're also going to let you go to DanteStarshine.com if you'd like to do that. And I've got to say, today I have another session starting after this, but I wanted to get the stream in a reasonable time. I'm going on the road again, so I didn't want to miss one this week and just offer this to you, but I'm not going to be able to go more than 45 minutes. So we'll say we'll stop at 50 or 55 past, 55 being the very latest I want to get off the call. Um, Cool. So, anyone new to the channel, I'm Dante Starshine. I channel the Pleiadian Council. Been channeling for about 7 years. It's a gift to be able to offer this to you, and I'm really happy for everyone to tune into these transmissions, which are to uplift humanity and to help bring in new insight and illumination for us to carry forth on our path and do things more guided by our heart and our higher self. So your own guides and your own higher self can connect with you in this space so that you can go deeper into your own process. And beyond these words, there's a transmission of energy that always comes through, whether you're listening live or whether you're listening to the recording. So I thank you for tuning in and applying these teachings as that helps our world grow and bring magic into the lives of many. When you are in Zoom, make sure you're muted. You can ask your questions, and when the person before you is completely finished, there will also be our host so graciously asking the questions from YouTube in the chat box. And the only thing to be aware of is that when you ask a question live, we can tune into your energy deeper, and we can also ask you a follow-up question to your question so that we really get to the core of the matter and get all the information necessary to provide you the best insight. So that's why we ask that you come into the Zoom rather than ask your question on YouTube if you want the very best results. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you're welcome to ask the questions on YouTube. Donations are welcome to this for this session, but they are not necessary. It supports me in continuing to do this and covers the costs of Zoom and all the other things. So I appreciate that a lot. And you could go to DanteStarshine.com and all the information on my work is there. If you are curious about connecting with the Pleiadian Council and getting personal guidance to move through some energies in your own life, the Pleiadian Councils are teachers and they are healers and they can tune into your auric body. I also do things of this nature, and I do astrology readings as well. So check out the website and let me know if you're interested. And as well, there's my book there, the guidebook to living love on earth, that goes into great detail on the Pleiadian Council's teachings and how to apply them to our lives and to our frameworks of reality. So I hope you can check that out and enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy this transmission. Thanks again for being here, and I'll definitely see you on the other side. And I'm just going to take a drop of my tinctures before because I forgot to do that today. I need a bit of ashwagandha and a bit of shisandra and a bit of no, that one we don't actually need. This one maybe. That's a good one. Wash it down with tea, and we're good to go. Hello, and we say a fantastic day to you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we thank you for allowing this transmission to take place. It is a gift, a blessing, and an honor for us to be able to connect with you in this way, and we are always grateful to be able to meet you. Today, we share a message entitled Shedding Your Skin into the Stars. Shedding your skin is a medicine connected with serpent energy. And in your wisdom tradition, serpents are symbols of both great transformation and spiritual awakening. And oftentimes they are symbols of deception. And this symbol of the serpent represents that choice. Do you use this primal nature within you to illuminate or to deceive? The process is in letting go of the blockages, the hindrances, which are created by your own beliefs. And as you transform these beliefs, you let go of the person you thought you were. You shed your skin. You take an old identity off and put a new one on. And of course, your skin still remains the same, no matter how much it sheds. You as humans don't pay so much attention to the fact that you're shedding your skin and renewing your organs and regrowing all these parts of your body all of the time. Yet, there come times when you have to genuinely tune into this process of transformation and consciously choose to go beyond the person you used to identify as and think you were, and create a new story for yourself. We've talked very much about beliefs that interfere with getting the things that you want. And many of you are so eager to talk about these beliefs. The process is that you confront the beliefs that are in the way of your own needs and desires, though eventually you get to a point where you have to confront even deeper levels of belief. And these are beliefs about your identity itself. Some point along the way, you will encounter stuck ideas that say, this is simply the way I am. I simply behave this way in these situations. For better or for worse, this is me. And these beliefs are very resistant levels of consciousness that so many of you as humans start to develop. And many systems of modern thought in psychology and even self-help and spirituality can bring people to start to identify with different levels of expression. People who get too obsessed with conventional psychology will start to identify with psychological disorders and diagnoses. And many people who follow this path will find that they stay stuck the exact same way for a long time, proving the theory of this level of psychology to be true. Though if you see things from a more spiritual perspective, you might start to identify with only things like your zodiac sign, or your human design type, or your Enneagram type, or your Myers-Briggs personality type, or anything of this nature. We're not saying any of these things are wrong, but they are simply one level of perspective. Whereas you as a being are far more nuanced and layered. And none of these layers of perspective are wrong, but they are not complete in and of themselves. They must be connected with all of the other layers in order for you to have the most accurate understanding of who you are. It is not intrinsic to systems like astrology to teach people ideas that every Scorpio will always behave this way. However, human consciousness that finds comfort in knowing and always seeks to avoid unknowing has distorted these sorts of systems to the need of the individual ego to define itself. Not every time you define yourself is it really supporting you? Is it really uplifting you? If your definition of who you are is so tight and constricted that it doesn't allow you to feel connected with and at one with, and fundamentally the same at the level of soul essence as beings around you, then what you are doing with your beliefs is causing a state of isolation. And such is the case in your world at this time, wherein you live in states of great illusion, great confusion, and great deceit. The general consciousness moves towards isolation. And the stories you tell about yourself, about who you are, that aren't necessarily true, and become these layers of identity, are often things that get in the way. This isn't to say you should totally erase your identity. It is important to know your preferences. It is important to know your stories. It is important to know what causes responses within your being. And also, it's important to understand that all of these things are the result of experiences that you've had and things that you've learned about yourself. These things are not intrinsic to you, but they are imprinted upon you. And just as you are a being that has been imprinted by your experiences, as you come to have new experiences, you can develop new imprints. It is clear to you that over the period of a year or several years, you always change. Yet, so often you're not open to seeing yourself in a different way until you are forced to do so by being confronted with obstacles. And many of you like to live under the illusion that there will never be more obstacles. Instead of this, anticipate that obstacles are a necessary part of the process of growth. And anticipate obstacles with excitement and joy, knowing that obstacles are invitations for transformation. Obstacles are what invite you to become something new and let go of who you thought you were. You can become more and more excited about this process of transformation from one version of yourself into another. And this is the process that your whole planet is embarking upon as you come to welcome extraterrestrial beings, hybrid races, and the other multidimensional denizens of your Earth and other realms back onto your planet through shifting the vibrational level of your planet from one dimension into the next octave up. And so you are on this transformation, and through that transformation, you will all have to transform the way that you see yourself and how you identify as the person you are again and again. And finding ease and grace in this process and dropping all your resistance will allow you to be the best ally to support the process for the collective. This cannot happen with resistance, cannot happen with force. Transformation is something that you allow. It's something that you have patience with. Just like a caterpillar goes into a cocoon, the caterpillar cannot force itself to mature any faster than the natural time it takes, according to its own genetics and according to its own incarnational destiny. As such, humans in their chrysalis phase now cannot force themselves to emerge from the cocoon any faster. And you also cannot judge the butterflies flying around if you yourself still find yourself as a caterpillar. You have to recognize that there are many different stages of the journey. And those who are butterflies will be caterpillars again in a different way. Accept and embrace the cycles of transformation and show up for them fully without denying them and also without rushing them. Letting go of who you think you are is a key in this process. And opening yourself to this transformation, again, must be done in a state of love and compassion. You are transforming not because you are wrong or bad. You are transforming because you are becoming something better. And so it is very important to hold a space of love for all of the things within you that you might want to change. Notice that your resistance to these things that you want to change, but struggle to change, is part of what keeps you stuck. So part of this shedding your skin is also shedding the resistance to the things that feel difficult to change. By coming to accept them, you become a version of yourself that is more capable of changing. Change and acceptance go hand in hand. Sometimes you fall into an all or nothing thinking, assuming that you either must change something entirely or accept it entirely, one or the other, without diving into both of those energies. And whenever you find change or acceptance is the energy you are called to bring in, please remember the other energy and call them in together. Change and acceptance must go hand in hand. Finally, we remind you once more that whenever you change yourself and change some of your beliefs, you actually become an entirely different version of yourself. You actually become an entirely different person. And as you change and transform, you have to let go of your attachment to and your judgment of and your investment in versions of yourself that are not here and now in the present. Even the you were before you listened to this transformation and this transmission is a different version of you than you are here in this moment. Notice that. Notice how the energy in your body is different after listening to these words. And if you can embrace the idea and the understanding that now, after changing your beliefs, even in the most subtle way, you're not the same person that you were before, then you will open to greater states of self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, and readiness and passion for transformation. And the more you have passion for transformation, the harder it will be to pin yourself down to any of these identities and stories. Instead, you will be a very creative being that responds to your environment and responds to the world around you, recognizing that other people, the environment, conditions, sensory impressions, all change your personality in such a core way that this illusory notion of a fixed and solid personality is something that was only created on a mental plane. And it was a condition that was imprinted upon you by a world that wants to control everything. Letting go means letting go of control. Letting go of your control over yourself by letting go of the definitions of who you are and instead attuning to naturalness, attuning to your responsibility and responsiveness, recognizing that who you are isn't a story in your head, but it is in the way that you respond to the events unfolding before you within your own reality. We thank you very much for allowing us to share this transmission with you now today, and we ask, in what ways can we be of service to you with your questions, comments, musings, and inquiries, beginning whenever you would wish.
Hi, Pleiadians. Thank you so much again for your guidance today.
Yes.
We have a written question. Hi, Pleiadians. I would love to know your thoughts about autism for kids. What are the causes, and what are we able to do in order to help transform this challenge?
autism is on one level genetic. On another level, it is connected with the new earth energies. And these children are teachers for humanity in learning how to adapt to people with different needs. These children, in their unpredictable nature and their stubbornness, are teachers for others about compassion and softness. Oftentimes, these sorts of children will allow for great multidimensional energies to be communicated through them, through their aura, through their simple actions, through their innocence. So we would encourage you to not see the challenge of these beings as a burden, but instead to open to their beauty and to their light and into their love, and admire and appreciate them. And you will discover very much about them. In a way, these sorts of children are connected as well to the hybrid children, because autistic children don't live in the same paradigm as normal people. Your world is being prepared to open to beings that are connected genetically to other worlds just as much as they're connected with your world. That will be a big learning gap. And while these hybrid children will have a much higher degree of emotional intelligence and communication than autistic children, they will weird you out and challenge you in many of the same ways. And so, on a soul level, this wave of autistic children is, in that sense, preparing you, and is not something to be corrected, but it is something to be compassionate towards.
Oh, beautiful. I really hope the channel will share this tidbit. So
All right.
cool. Um, I have a personal question, which is how we potentially can grow from or be more ourselves from observing others, both in terms of negative and positive. And I was reminded today of an exercise from a workshop I attended a long time ago, where we had to write down three people we knew and three qualities that we admired the most about them. So that would be nine. And then three people we didn't know, and also three qualities about each. And then the teacher of the workshop said that those 18 qualities would sort of present a blueprint of our ideal self. So I really love your perspective on this specific exercise or something similar, and how you would recommend we could do something in this regard to become more of who we are.
It's very helpful to do these things. And what ultimately it will teach you is in the power of your projection. Note as well, if you do these practices, that you may project these qualities onto others in a variety of ways. Sometimes these qualities are the parts of yourself that you disown, meaning that you don't allow yourself to channel them and develop them. This is especially true when you experience limerence or infatuation. Putting someone that you love on a pedestal so much so that you idolize them and become very attached to them. This is an externalization of your power. This happens when you see something in them that you struggle to own in yourself, but very much need and want for yourself. And so, if you ever find yourself in these situations, it's important to also recognize what you see in that other person exists in you. And you cannot be a match to that kind of a person until you stop projecting those positive qualities and start embracing them and summoning them within yourself. On a negative level, this happens too. The people that you hate the most, you project the things that you judge and resist and have pushed into the shadows within yourself. So by projecting these things onto others, it becomes a very easy way to not look at them within yourself. In the worst cases, this becomes a scapegoating of others, turning them into a monster because one cannot look at their own shadows and their own shortcomings. And therefore, recognize that no one outside of you is really what they appear to be. Your consciousness, by its nature, is constantly projecting. What you see in others is something in you. When things make you feel uncomfortable and in resistance, causing you to lose your center, it's because you are rejecting aspects of yourself, whether it is light or dark. You are rejecting aspects of yourself. You may be falling into infatuation and idolization of others because you don't have the capacity to embrace your own light because of your negative beliefs. Or you might be demonizing and ostracizing others with your judgment because you don't have the capacity to hold and embrace your own shadow.
This is very profound, and so it leads me to ask about how does this relate to falling in love?
Limerence and true love can be possible at the same time, or they can happen in different ways at different times. You can put someone on a pedestal and fall in love with them, and then eventually they will fall off the pedestal. From that point, it is up to you whether or not you can open and maturely integrate what happened and take responsibility for putting them on the pedestal in the first place, or if you blame them for falling off the pedestal you put them on and do the same thing over again with another person. That's up to you.
So beautiful. Uh, I can't help but ask that I believe tonight there's going to be a debate in the US between two presidential candidates.
Oh,
Any
well, is that
advice for
exciting?
people?
Yes.
Yeah, any advice for people watching that? Because both of them seem to get the, well, maybe not the best, but definitely the worst out of people.
You're not watching the movie. You're mistaking the movie for reality. Media is a form of toxic and controlling entertainment. If you know it to be that, you can watch it like it's a movie and detach from the characters more so that you're not drawn into the fight, the conflict, the aggression, the fear, most importantly, and the us versus them. All politics, and especially in the United States, which is the center of this master of illusion energy, there is a tactical and well thought out strategy to present a very emotionally charged act of theater to the public to influence the public in certain ways. You don't have the power you think you have. So by engaging in these theaters and mistaking them for reality, you give the power you actually have away. Your power to influence the theater when you're not actually an actor in the play itself is very minimal. Instead of focusing on the theater, you have to create your own life and direct your own play. Very few people are willing to do this because it is very much easier to externalize your power and to blame your struggle and suffering on the play that you're watching rather than within your own being and consciousness. And they love to do this to you because it gives you the illusion of power with illusory permission slips like voting. Yet it also keeps you from doing the things that you really ought to do and must do in your life. To be in your own power connection. Now, this isn't to say there is no power in voting and don't vote and don't get involved, but recognize that as you vote, you're taking part in a theater and you're interacting with something so much bigger than you. What's bigger than your vote is your own level of awareness of the situation itself. Do you view the situation at surface level, or do you see the multidimensional components and the bigger play at large? If you tap into the big picture, your ability to drop your insistence on outcomes expands. And remember that you can never get the outcome you want when you're insisting or resisting. By bringing many people into states of insistence and resistance and making them feel as if they are more powerful than they are, and that their power comes from something that their power could not come from, the political system is the greatest way for the elite to disempower the masses. Recognize that that is what you participate in. And when you recognize that, it ought to become humorous for you. And the play will not drain you. And you will simply watch it as a form of entertainment. At this point, the symbolic implications and the archetypal implications and the spiritual implications of the play will be revealed to you, and you will see it for what it is. But if you mistake the play, which is an act of illusion, for reality, you will become very lost. And that's an okay choice to make. You can find yourself at any point in the process if you would wish to.
Beautiful answer. Thank you so much. Let's see if we got some live questions on Zoom.
Hi.
Hello.
Good day, Pleiadians and Dante.
Good day to you as well, yes.
We believe that we, meaning myself, am a Lyran Pleiadian starseed, and probably will be meeting
Yes.
my hybrid children soon as well.
Oh, that's correct.
And that's all very exciting.
Yes, we're excited for that too. Something you would like to ask about that?
I don't know if it's about that, because I know I'm just feeling a little anxiety about it, and I am really, it's just going to transform it into excitement. That's about it. There's more than
Well,
that.
why might
just
you
the
feel
Gaia
anxiety about
transforming
that?
herself. I feel a little bit of alien fear. There's a little bit of, ooh, they're going to look different, right? Well, okay, I know I'm not prejudiced about humans that look different, so why would that be scary? But there's a lot of them. I hear I have a lot of children. Oh gosh, I don't have any in human life, but that's just this tiny little incarnation. So
If you want to dissolve this anxiety, we suggest meditating on the presence of your hybrid children every day, and they will start to connect with you on an astral level. So for 5 or 10 minutes in your meditation, visualize a group of hybrid children surrounding you and imagine them playing and imagine their energies dancing with you. And the more you start to do this, the more actively the hybrid children will start to contact you, and you will get to know their energy. And you will start to experience that they're not really that scary at all.
yeah, it'll be like looking in the mirror, like a little different, me
Yes.
reflected back.
Yes. though they will also show you your light and your shadow. Remember this, as any good mirror will do.
Can you talk about Gaia and her ascension process that's happening right now?
You are Gaia. Gaia is all of humanity. So together, you are ascending along with all of the other creatures on this planet as well. And the collective consciousness is oriented towards that positive timeline in these moments. However, again, remember that there are groups of people who orient towards negative timelines while still sharing this earth with you. And so many different earth realities are represented on your earth at this time. And this is why you may experience the very volatile nature of your general populace. Some people have a soul contract to bring about the new earth. Other people have a soul contract to prevent the new earth from happening. And rather than battling, what you need to do is to choose to create consciously with those who are building the new earth. And know that the power of your love and your inner peace is enough to repel those who are not choosing the new earth from being involved in your life and field. And this also means actively speaking to the beliefs, practices, and behaviors that you see representing the new earth. And that's enough. Remember, you need not battle, you need not make wrong, you need not fear any of the levels of destruction happening if they are beyond your control. Pray for them, do what you can in terms of raising awareness about them. But when you allow your fear to take over, you start to diminish your power. So, yes, care deeply about your planet, but have no fear. When you focus on the parts of your earth and the parts of your humanity that matter most to you and are most exciting for you, you will find your role. Because remember, many of you have soul agreements to bring about the new earth, but all of you have soul agreements to do that in completely different ways. So do not judge your fellow co-creators for doing things a little bit differently than you. Come to honor and connect with the deep intention for love and for well-being and healing in other people's hearts as much as your own heart.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much again. We have a really interesting question on YouTube, which is,
All right.
how do I ask God for help? Because I have lots of prayers go unanswered. Thank you so much.
Your prayers are being spoken in desperation. You're asking for something outside of you to come and save you, whereas God, which we most often call Source, is your very innermost nature. So praying to a God outside of you will not help. Praying to a God at the most deep and interior level of your being is the only way to bring about change and transformation. It's the only way to get what you want. And this deep and innermost level of your being brings you to a state of trust, surrender, and unconditional love. At this very most inner level of your being, that is the source, that is your higher self, that is God. No matter what's happening, no matter what is lost, no matter the level of pain, there is a power to trust and a power to stay present and a power to hold space. This brings about a surrender. And a letting go of the human's identification with the belief systems that mistake themselves for the self. Going to this deeper level of your being is the truest prayer. Praying in this sense is connecting with your inner self. Praying to something outside of you puts you in the role of a victim that needs to be rescued. As a victim that needs to be rescued, you can call upon people to come into a rescuer, healer, helper, or fixer role. But until you connect with God in your own way, these people cannot really help you. They will try to help you and do best onto you. But when you are not connected with God in your own way, their help only goes so far. And you may find, if you choose that level of victim consciousness, that you bring people into your life who appear to be knights in shining armor, and then they turn and become your greatest enemies, not because they are bad people, but because your dualistic consciousness manifested the victim, healer, perpetrator dynamic. God is beyond that, and God is within you. And God
Wow.
will show you that you are powerful and you are a creator, and that it is your own presence that will carry you there.
Wow, thank you so much. Can't help but say that I have never looked more forward to listening back to this transmission again. Such powerful advice.
Oh, thanks to
There's
you.
another question, which is you mentioned about the elite. Can you talk about more specifically who they are and how are their plans unfolding as it looks right now?
It's of no concern to you. The deepest secret things they're doing are of no concern to you. What you want to know, you don't need to know. So let it go. What you need to know about this is that divide and conquer is the way the elite stay in power. And so many of the tactics that you consider to be subversive ways to help you overcome the elite are actually ways of further dividing yourself. When you attack others because their belief systems are different from your own, you are cooperating with the elite agenda. When you choose to believe that you are not powerful, you are cooperating with the elite agenda. When you participate in materialism and consumerism and mistake the physical things of the world for the spiritual happiness and the personal power that can only be found within, you are cooperating with the elite agenda. This is why we say nothing exists outside of you. And if you want to go beyond the elite, go beyond the elitism within yourself that supposes that just by knowing certain things about reality, that you will suddenly become better than other people who do wrong. Recognize the same potential for good and evil is at the core of every human.
So cool. Thanks so much.
And that will be all for today.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks and our unconditional love to all
Thank
of
you so much again.
And we now ask you to shed your skin. Shed your skin and shed the identification with struggle, with suffering, and powerlessness. Shed the identification with the people that you thought you were to open into a new version of yourself who is empowered, who is unconditionally loving, who has unlimited compassion for all of the suffering you've ever experienced and all the suffering that you may come to experience, and the same onto others. Step into a version of yourself by shedding your skin and becoming a version of yourself that has endless compassion for all others have done onto you and onto the planet, and all that they might continue to do onto you and onto the planet and onto others. Open yourself, as this is the truest essence of source that can be birthed from within you. Be an embodiment of this love, and you will find that a love far more powerful will continuously return onto you. You have to be the one that makes the choice. You cannot pray helplessly for this to happen. You have to become it in your own way. Our unconditional love to you, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your day then. Okay, cool.
Hey,
How was that, everybody?
that was amazing. And I want to go on record. It's been a while since I've said anything similar like this, but I will go on the record and say that I believe this transmission has been the most powerful you've ever done if people actually take action on it, analyze it, resonate with it, meditate on it. Wow. Just
Yeah,
wow. So awesome.
there's so much clearing happening in the field. I know for me, and I think some other people are experiencing it too. We're just in upgrade season. Before we go on,
Yeah. I mean,
DanteStarshine.com is a reminder for my channeled book, Guidebook to Living Love on Earth. I highly recommend diving into that. And if you want to dive into personal healing sessions, you'll find all the information there. Donations for these sessions are welcome, but not necessary. And I love you. So yeah, go on, Michael. What were you saying?
yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I'm very impressed, and I can be a cynical bastard because I've gone through so much. This is why I keep hanging around and want to support you. Is that I believe that you and the Pleiadians through you have such an important voice that I really hope that more and more people will tune into it and especially take action on it. And
I hope so
especially
too.
with today's transmission.
That
Damn,
would be
wow.
so exciting. Yeah. Thank you for being here,
Really
Teresa
impressed.
Tree. Yeah, thank you for being here. I loved your questions as well.
Thank
Me
you.
too. Me too, Teresa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, if I had had a child, I would have named him Dante. Oh boy.
Really? No way.
If
That's
I
so
had a girl, I
cool.
would have named her Kate. So when I saw your name, I was like, oh, that's synchronous.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
That's a nice compliment.
Wow.
Of course, I liked it from Clerks. That's so funny. Of course, Dante's Inferno,
Oh,
of course, as well. But I was like, there's multiple references in my mind that.
well, I've got to say, people keep talking about Dante's Inferno because that book is more famous, but we need to remember Dante wrote the Divine Comedy, and
Right.
my
Yeah,
journey,
yeah, exactly.
I'm living the new Divine Comedy, and one day I'll write that book. So, it is funny, and it becomes funny when we go through hell, purgatory, and heaven, and we realize that it was heaven the whole time, but all of them will continue to exist. It's just a matter of choice, really. That's the new Divine Comedy. That's what we're living.
Sounds like there was a deeper meaning to you using that name. Just
I
saying.
mean, no, this is the name I was born with. We went through hell, honey. We really did.
Yeah,
The Star
that's so
Shine
cool.
Comedy. I like that. That's awesome.
Can't help but
Yeah,
think of
stop
Shakespeare.
associating me with hell and hell alone, though. What, Amanda?
I said I can't help but think of Shakespeare as well.
Oh,
I mean, with respect a lot to this world being a stage and all that. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you about something Shakespearean when I see you next time, Amanda. It's a secret
wonderful. Yeah. So, enjoying the play today.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a really good day.
Yeah, it was a really gentle, lovely, but powerful answers today, but so really gently delivered. It was very nice.
I really hope
finding
people
this.
are gonna listen to this again,
Yeah,
or maybe 3 times, hopefully.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of layers today. Like I can pick this up. This is why I love Dante's
Yeah.
transmission as well. That
This
there
was
are,
like a transmission for me where like I felt like a huge shift from one week to the next. Sometimes that happens where like I go through something that I'm like, oh my God, the way that this is coming through my channel is so different. It's the same guides, but it's like my voice and like what carries it and holds it inside of me is different. Did we feel that?
yeah. I mean, there was a different vibe from you, definitely, which I liked. I have to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Upgrades, upgrades, honey. Cool.
Very
Well, I have
proud of you.
another session beginning in 5 minutes.
Oops.
Yeah.
Ciao.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Dante.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Catch you soon. Much love, many blessings,
Blessings.
hugs, all that.